I know what you're thinking. Why has Theo got a bigger smile on his face than usual? Well, if you've been following this series, you'll know that a few days ago, I launched a brand new dropshipping store. And over the weekend, that dropshipping store has done over $1,000 in sales at a 10x ROAS. So yes, this right here is a 10x ROAS smile. And what that means is for every $1 that I spent on ads, I generated $10 in sales. This Google Ads setup is the closest thing that you're going to get to a money printer. Now, not all of that is profit, but I'm going to be completely transparent. And in this video, I'm going to show you my Google Ads account, my profit and loss, and of course, the next steps that we're going to be implementing to continue scaling this business. So if you're ready, let's get into it. So first and foremost, here we are inside of the Shopify dashboard. As you can see, over $1,000 in sales in just 3 days. May 2nd was when we launched the ads. I'll hit refresh for you because I know you guys love to see that these numbers are real, although it's not much, just to show you that we are moving legit. There you go. So 3-day period, over $1,000 in sales. Ads launched on May 2nd. I will show you that inside of the Google Ad account in just a moment. And you can see from 3 orders as well, over $1,000 in sales. So what we're doing here is high ticket branded niche dropshipping, which is the method that I've always used, and it's the method that I teach. Now, one thing I should mention is that this conversion rate should actually be higher. I noticed I'm facing some issues with regards to the conversion tracking inside of the Google Ad account. So these extra sessions here yesterday were me trying to fix up the conversion tracking. I'll show you the problem that I'm facing inside of the Google Ad account right now. So let's take a look. So here we are inside of the Google Ad account, same time period, May 2nd to May 5th. And you can see the ads started there on May the 2nd, where we had 2 clicks. Saturday we had 12, Sunday we had 38, and then Monday we had 46. So you can see total clicks here is 98. I think on Shopify store sessions was something like 114. So that difference in clicks versus store sessions, like I say, was me trying to fix that conversion tracking, because at the moment I have 0 sales according to Google Ads, which means it's not registering the conversions that it generated. If we go into the conversion summary over here, you can see the different conversion actions. So we have purchase, add to cart, begin checkout, and page view. Now, yesterday, these weren't showing as active, but I managed to solve the issues. At least I believe I've solved them. So now moving forward, conversions should be tracking accurately and showing in here, but we'll see if what I did yesterday has actually fixed it. Now, it's my own fault that the conversion tracking wasn't working from the get-go. I set it up initially using SimProcess, which is the app that I've used ever since I started in Ecom back in 2020. But I tried to be smart, tried to be clever. I thought, oh, let me link it up through Google Tag Manager, and I messed it up. So what I've done now is just reverted it back to the original setup as recommended by SimProcess, set it all up natively there as opposed to using Google Tag Manager, and now at least everything is showing as active. So let's see if that's fixed it moving forward. And actually there's one more thing I wanted to mention, which is this right here. You're probably wondering, what the hell is DH440? Well, as I mentioned in the previous video, I decided to create this new Google advertising account through my Google Manager account. As my manager account is based here in Dubai, the native currency for this account is now in dirham. But to convert dirham to dollars, you basically just divide by about 4. I'll show you the exact conversion rate in just a moment when we take a look at the profit and loss. But you can see I've roughly spent about $100 here. Now, the bit you're probably actually interested in seeing is the actual profit and loss report. So let's take a look. Before we do that, let me just show you the conversion rate. So you can see that 1 dirham equates to 0.27 USD. So like I say, you basically divide by 4, but the conversion rate is 1 to 0.27. So that 440 dirham spend equates to 119 US dollars. And now the part you've all been waiting for, the actual profit and loss. Now, tell me, who else in Ecom is actually sharing with you guys their profit and loss report? Like I said to you at the start of this series, I'm going to be completely transparent on everything. The previous videos, I showed you how I do my research, how I build the store, the strategy that I'm using on Google, and now I'm even sharing with you my profit and loss report. So it doesn't get realer than this. So this is the conversion rate I was just showing you on Google, where I'm converting AED into USD. So all of the figures here are in dollars. Now, as you saw on Google, I started spending on May the 2nd. On that day, I didn't spend very much at all. We spent just shy of $3, where the campaigns were just starting to warm up. On May 3rd, we spent a total of $12. Again, campaigns were just warming up. And on May 4th, we spent $44, and this is where we got our first conversion. Now you can see the conversion value was $394. And after we deduct our payment processor cost, which is the Shopify fee in order to process the payment, and of course our product and shipping cost, which is a total of $120, if we add up all expenses, which is our cost of the conversion, our payment processor cost, and the product and shipping cost, our total expenses for that day are $184. Now, to calculate our net profit here, all we do is deduct our total expenses from our Shopify sale revenue, and you can see we have $209 profit for the day of May 4th, which is an 8.9x return on advertising spend. Now, May the 5th was even better. We generated 2 conversions on that day, almost $1,000 in sales on that day alone. You can see we didn't spend much more than what we spent on the 4th. We actually spent about $60. Our total expenses were slightly lower because we spent $60 to generate 2 orders, whereas the day prior we spent $44 to generate just 1, which means our ROAS for the day of May the 5th is actually 13.2, which brings our total ROAS for the 4 days in which we were advertising to 9.95, which is that 10x ROAS I was talking about at the start of the video. So how much of that is actually profit? Well, let's break it down. So $1,184 in total revenue, which is the 3 orders that I showed you on Shopify. Gross profit 69%, ROAS 9.95. Keep in mind that our break-even ROAS is 1.52, which I did share with you in a previous video, and I've calculated it in a separate sheet. I'll show you the sheet again in just a moment once we've gone through these figures. Average cost per acquisition, which is our average cost per conversion, is $39, which means for every $39 we spend, we're generating a sale at $394, which aligns with the 9.95x ROAS, which is, like I said at the start of the video, for every dollar we're spending on ads, we're generating $10 in the Shopify store. And now the part you've all been waiting for, the actual net profit, $643, which is a net profit margin of 54%. Here's the cog sheet that I shared with you in a previous video, and you can see how I've calculated my break-even ROAS. Actually, my cost of goods and shipping costs did change slightly between what I had here and what I showed you in a previous video. I initially calculated it out to be $111.74 per product shipped, and actually the price in the end ended up being closer to $120, which has been reflected in my profit and loss sheet. But most importantly, you can see the break-even ROAS here, 1.5 and 1.55. The reason I have 2 different values is because I do intend on also adding a welcome discount. I haven't added it just yet, but if I take into consideration the £20 or $20 saving, that will of course reduce the gross profit slightly, therefore increasing my break-even ROAS, but still keeping it super low. A 1.55x break-even return on advertising spend is still fantastic, but maybe not if you're running meta ads and achieving, you know, a 2x ROAS on meta, which isn't uncommon. But you've just seen the profit and loss. We were at a 10x, guys, 9.95x return on advertising spend on a brand new store that I just launched a few days ago. So tell me this, guys, who else do you know that can launch a brand new dropshipping store, achieve a 10x return on advertising spend, a 55% net profit margin, and almost $650 in profit in just a few days with a brand new dropshipping store? I'll wait. I don't know anyone. Tell me, please, if you know someone that is generating these kind of numbers with a brand new store, tell me, because I would love to know. Just for some additional context, right? It's not uncommon for people to achieve a net 15 or even net 20% profit margin in Ecom after all expenses. The reason that that's not uncommon is because 90% of people that I know in the dropshipping and in the Ecom space all rely on meta ads. Meta ads are very, very expensive, and they work in a very different way to Google ads, all right? Meta ads is interruption-based marketing. You're choosing to show an ad to someone who's in a particular audience or demographic type on the basis that you think if you show them an ad of your product, that it's going to be compelling enough to take them out of doom scrolling on Facebook and Instagram, take them to your website, and then get them to convert. That's quite challenging in itself, and that's why most people, when selling products on Meta, are happy to sell products that are $30, $40, $50 in terms of the average order value, because you're not going to be able to sell a product like the one I'm selling at $400 through interruption-based marketing. Perhaps you can, but it's very unlikely. But if you think about the way Google bills, all I'm doing is putting products in front of people that are already searching for them. You saw in previous videos what we did was we validated search demand, we passed the evergreen test, we made sure that the profit multiplier was there. It ran through all of the metrics in my 4-step product validation method, which is why we're able to bring a single product to market with extreme confidence and a 100% success rate. There is no testing here because we validate everything up front, and we did that through all of the research, which is why I always say the research phase is the foundation of your success. So let me ask you, because genuinely I'd like to know, what would you prefer, okay? Following 90% of other people selling products with meta ads and getting sales for $30, $40, maybe even $50 if you're lucky, versus getting 3 sales over the space of a few days at a 10x ROAS with a $400 average order value. because I know what I'd prefer. And think about the customer support on the back end. Keep in mind, this is at low volume, okay? I had needed to get 3 sales to do almost $1,200 in revenue. How many sales would you need to get if your average order value is $30 to achieve $1,200 in sales? Not only that, but how much customer support is there at the back end because of all of that order volume? And also, in addition to that, what's your net profit at the end? Because I can tell you now, someone selling $30, $40, $50 products on Meta ads at a 2x ROAS, if anything, they'll be lucky to achieve a 15 or 20%. In fact, let's look at some numbers right now and see what that would look like at scale. So let's do this. Meta, Google, revenue. Let's do number of orders. In here, we'll put AOV, and then we'll put net profit. So let's assume we're at scale now and we're doing 100K. All right. Let's use my average order here, which was $400. If we want to be precise, I think it was like 39. And let's assume your AOV on Meta is $30, which isn't uncommon, right? Most people sell products within this range, $30, $40, $50. I'll tell you what, let's do $40 to be fair. All right. If you think $30 is low, let's do 40. So how many orders would you need to get on Meta to do 100K in revenue with a $40 AOV? 2,500. How many would you need to get on Google if your AOV was 394? 253. So you'd need 10 times as many orders in order to do 100K in revenue at an AOV of $40. I would need to get 250 sales to do 100K in revenue. Now, which do you think is more likely? 250 orders or 2,500? Not only that, but let's take into consideration customer satisfaction, returns, chargebacks. These are all things that people don't talk about that are really going to affect how you can operate on the back end. Now let's look at it in terms of net profit. 20%, extremely typical of someone running Meta ads, versus 55%, which is what I achieved over the past few days. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Yeah, but at scale, you're not going to get 55% net profit margin. Where? All right, let's put 40% in there. Let's be modest. 40% net profit, which is totally feasible, by the way. I've just launched over a weekend, not optimized anything, and achieved 55% already. Keep in mind that is 3 of my 254 orders already gone in terms of being on track to doing that 100K in revenue. So can I get 254 orders whilst maintaining a net 40% profit margin? 100%, absolutely. So what would that actually mean in terms of net profit as a monetary value? Well, let's see. 100K in revenue at a net 20% profit would be 20K, 100K in revenue at a net 40% profit, 40K. So not only do I need to sell just 10% of the order volume that you need to do on Meta, but my profit is actually double. So I'll ask you again, because I genuinely want to know, like drop a comment or something. What makes more logical sense to you and which would you prefer? Because so many people just fall into this trap of launching on Meta, testing all of these creatives to never find a winner and then give up and say dropshipping doesn't work. Yet me and my students are able to do all of our research up front and bring products to market with a very, very high success rate because we invest time and energy into validating that product before we bring it to market. And if that's not enough, we only need to do 10% of the order volume for twice as much revenue at the end of the month. So for me, it's very clear. Branded niche dropshipping with Google Ads is the only logical solution. And the crazy part is that these results that I'm getting now on this brand new business aren't even unusual. My students have done the exact same before me, like Sasha, who went from 0 to 513,429 euros in just 4 months. And it was the exact same for him. There were times he was getting a 6, 7, 8x return on advertising spend. Once you understand the process and have access to the blueprint, you can just keep rinsing and repeating this process, bringing more and more products to market, scaling horizontally and vertically at the same time. And there's really no limit to how far you can take it. I've even got my brother flying out to Dubai for a week. He's going to stay with me and I'm going to help him launch an Ecom store. So if you're still not convinced by the success you've seen so far with this store, I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep scaling it. And also the success of my previous students before me, then I'll do it one more time. Why not? 3 times a charm. My brother's flying out to Dubai soon. I'll help him launch a store and I'll show you the results from that as well. Now, there's one more thing that I want to share with you in this video, which is the scaling strategy and my proposed next steps. But before we do that, I actually want to share a short story with you because I went for lunch over the weekend with a friend of mine called Amit. He's from the UK. I met him in Dubai about a year ago and he was in Dubai just for 1 week. So he posted an IG story and said, who's around? Dropped him a DM. Next thing you know, he's arranged a breakfast between me and about about 8 other entrepreneurs, guys that own businesses in crypto, in AI, and of course, Ecom from myself. So as you can imagine, like decent high-level conversation over breakfast, really, really enjoyable. Now, the reason I mention this is I said to a few of the guys around the table that I'd just launched a new dropshipping store and that I was going to be documenting the journey. Now, interestingly, one of the guys said to me, "Oh man, I tried Ecom in the past, but I just got stuck in this creative testing loop on Meta and I could never find a winning product. Like, what's your process for testing?" And I couldn't help but smile. And I said, "I don't test, I validate." I said, "I do all of the research upfront using my 4-step product validation method, and it allows me to bring products to market with confidence because I just back everything up by data that is available to you, to me, to anyone on the internet, and you can access it for free. So if all of that data is there, why would I not use it to my advantage?" And I broke down to him my 4-step product validation method. And you can see someone's brain ticking. He was sitting there and he was like, this just makes complete sense. And it was so different to the strategy that he had been taught in the past, which is something that so many people are still teaching now, where people are taught to go on Meta Ad Library, to just keep scrolling until you find a product that looks good, then steal their ads, steal their product, steal their website, and just launch in a different market. If you've been following my content for a while, you'll know that I'm not a fan of this. In fact, I despise it. And really what it comes down to is just business etiquette and authenticity. You will never catch me just stealing someone else's product. I couldn't bring myself to do it. And it frustrates me that people are teaching this online. I just speed ran a store in 2 hours. Here's how I did it. I just stole. And people are publicly posting this online and being proud of it. It's ridiculous. And these are the types of people that are giving dropshipping a bad name. All that dropshipping is the fulfillment method. What we're doing here is e-commerce. How you choose to go about your e-commerce business is up to you. But what I teach and what I'm an advocate of is building an e-commerce business the right way. For those of you that don't know, I've been in e-com for 5 years now. I launched my first business back in June of 2020. And I actually went on to exit that business in December of 2022. So just think about that for a moment as well. The first dropshipping business I ever launched, I also exited it. E-com exits are actually quite uncommon. I don't know many people who can hold their hand up and say, I have exited an e-com business. Do you? And guess what? That business that I exited was a niche specific dropshipping store, which is the exact same thing that I'm building and documenting right now in 2025. So it worked in 2020 and it still works now in 2025. You can forget general store dropshipping. I've never done it and I never will. My approach is building niche specific branded dropshipping stores and selling high ticket products. Anyway, I feel like I've been rambling for a little while now. So the bit that you're actually waiting for, next steps with regards to scaling. Now, I know you're hoping that I'm going to say, I'm going to double my budget and scale to the moon, but actually, no, that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm going to keep things steady and consistent at the moment. I'm not going to scale aggressively. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to amend the budget at all. The reason for that is, as I showed you at the start of this video, I was experiencing some conversion tracking issues. So I want to make sure that the conversion tracking has been fixed and that I am actually getting some conversion data inside of the ad account, because I can't begin to optimize the campaigns until I have some accurate conversion data inside of the ad account. I've also decided to send a product to my private agent's office. Now, this is one of the benefits of having a private agent. As I explained in previous videos, they're not just there to negotiate pricing, they're also there to check on quality and find the best suppliers for you. So now that we're getting some sales, I want to make sure that the product I'm sending to the customers is actually good quality, there's no defects, and that it's actually something that I'm proud to sell. Plot twist, a dropshipper who actually cares about his customers. Yes, guys, I do. And this is what I keep telling you about efficacy and etiquette when it comes to business. I'm building something that is going to be built to last. And to do that, I need to make sure that the customer experience is good. I know you're probably surprised to hear that, because most people in this dropshipping space that we're in right now don't give a damn about the customers. They just generate as many sales as possible. They don't care about customer support, and they just refund people whenever they get chargebacks. This is the dark side of dropshipping, and it's the black hat side. It's something that I don't get involved with. And they're the types of people who will be doubling their budget as much as possible to scale as quickly as possible. Now, we will scale when the time is right, but generating revenue as quick as possible isn't my goal right now. And that time will come. But right now, I'm testing the waters with a new supplier that my private agent has sourced. I want to make sure the quality is good. I want to make sure that the first few customers start to receive their order and that they're actually happy with it. And then we'll begin to scale. Besides, there's still things that I need to do on the website as well. I didn't even add on any LAI reviews yet. I need to add some more products with a bit of help from AI and Canva. Now that we know that we're generating sales, I don't mind investing a bit more time into the product page and improving it even more. Obviously, as well, I did limit how much I was putting on the product page because I wanted to make sure I passed all the necessary checks from Google and Google Merchant Center when launching a new store. So I went through my Google Merchant Center prevention suspension checklist, which I shared with you guys in a previous video, made sure that everything was compliant. Now that I'm launched and I'm live and everything is running successfully, I can begin to optimize the landing page further, add a little bit more urgency and scarcity, and use some conversion rate optimization techniques. So doing that stuff should keep me busy for a little while. And for now, we're just going to let the ads run as they are. Don't worry, we're still going to push for that $10,000 a month in sales. But my goal isn't to speed run this or get there as quick as possible. I'm going to get there at my own pace. But just know that we will get there. If anything, $10,000, I'm probably selling myself short because I know I can take this store to $100,000 a month, no problem. It's not if, it's when. Keep in mind, guys, I do have other commitments as well outside of this YouTube channel and this new store that I'm building and documenting for you. I also have my e-commerce podcast and, of course, my e-commerce mentorship program. On that note, if I can run multiple businesses and launch a new e-com store and document the journey, then you for sure can build an e-commerce store around your 9 to 5. It just comes down to how bad do you want it. Do you know how many times I've woken up at 7 a.m. and worked through to 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning to get to where I am today? Trust me when I say more times than I could possibly count. The grind is no joke. But in all honesty, what I do is a luxury. I remember 5 years ago when I was working construction, all we used to say is, there's got to be something better than this. Me and the guys on the construction site would be outside freezing cold in winter or inside boiling hot in summer. And I can tell you that there is, because I've escaped that life. I've achieved time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. And for me, the catalyst for that was e-commerce. Trust me, I will happily work 12-hour days, 16-hour days. I don't care. I will still do it with a smile on my face because what I do right here, sat on my ass on a computer making money, is a luxury. So if you're willing to do what it takes to live this lifestyle, I'm willing enough to help you get there. Same way I have done all of my existing students to date. I'm very proud of the fact that I've only ever achieved 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. To name a few of those student results, we've got Ollie, who went from 0 to 55k in just 9 weeks. We have Kyle, who went from 0 to 1k per day in just 1 month. And we also have Sasha, who went from 0 to 429,000 euros in just 4 months. Not to mention, I've just shown you guys that I can bring a single product to market using Google Ads and achieve a 10x return on advertising spend. So I think by now you've seen enough. If you truly want to make a change and you're willing to commit to the next 90 days, then see the link in the video description and consider applying for my mentorship program. And that is all for this video. So if you've been enjoying this series so far, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment and hit subscribe because in the next video, I'll be giving you another store update. That's all for now, and I will see you in the next video.